Hello, hello, wherever you are in the world. My name is Agnes van Rhijn. I am the owner of Success on Your Own Terms and the founder of the Women Who Make Things Happen show. Today it's my privilege to be interviewing Isabelle Rizo, and Isabelle is the founder of Bellavie Productions, Inc. She is a brand storyteller based in Chicago, although she is traveling a lot, so I'm not sure she's that often in Chicago. She loves drinking herbal teas. She loves window seats of airplanes, and she'll have to tell me more about that, and exploring foreign lands. Isabelle had a dream of connecting powerful women together to create businesses from their sole purpose, freely from their laptop, and making the world a better place. Let's hear more about that. Welcome, Isabelle, to the Woman Who Makes Things Happen show. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing very well. I'm on the road.
So where are you right now?
Currently, I'm in Mannheim. I just arrived from the DNX
Mannheim,
conference.
Germany, for people who don't know where Mannheim is.
Yes, yes, correct. I forget that sometimes. Just came back from the Digital Nomad conference in Berlin, and digital nomads are just people that run businesses from their laptops, and their big priority is travel and experiencing the world. So it was great to connect with other nomads.
Great. And so how long have you been away now from home?
A week and a half. I think a week and a half. And then I'm heading to Paris on Thursday. I'm teaching a workshop out there about brand storytelling for female entrepreneurs. And then we'll see where else I go. I'm planning to go to Romania. And yeah, working from my laptop, writing things, talking to clients, doing interviews like this. It's fantastic.
So tell us more about that dream of yours, and how long have you had that?
Yes. So I started everything about 7 years ago. The seed that started this, though, was in America, if you're unfamiliar, there's a big problem with student loans and university. And I love education. I love learning. And I was going to go to university, but 2 weeks before I was going to move into my dorm, I said, nope, I don't want to pay $26,000 for 1 year of school. I was like, how many plane tickets is that? You know?
I love it.
And I said, well, all I knew for certain was that I wanted to travel and I wanted to help people. And so I started, doing traveling, and I really got passionate about education. And then I saw that entrepreneurship was really a fantastic catalyst for people, for education, for self-development, for doing good work in the world. And then I niched down a little bit more and found that all of the digital nomads I knew were guys. I'm like, where are all the girls in this? Like, where are all the solo female travelers? So I thought, okay, I want to focus on the solo female traveler, and she's probably uncertain about herself, but she's really passionate about health or nutrition or travel or writing, and connect her with the right tools to help her launch her business from her laptop so she can start making a living doing what she's naturally gifted at, doing what her strengths are, and discovering what those strengths are. I found even more that my strength lied in marketing and sharing people's stories and connecting people. So my big overall mission with why I do what I do is I love to change the way stories and businesses are run, transparently, vulnerably, from a deeper, intuitive soul place.
Yeah.
And I work with brands and clients from around the world. My heart is still with the female entrepreneur, but I help many different companies share their story online through social media. And
so your clients are not only the solopreneurs. You work
yes.
with companies as well.
Yes.
So, given that this show is all about inspiring women to go for their dreams, you had that dream. How did you get started? Because you don't wake up with all your clients in front of your door. So how did you go for it?
Exactly. So I started out on a dinky little blogspot website. I look back at it and I'm like, ooh. But, we all start from somewhere. And I tell people, start from wherever you're at. So I started on Blogspot. I started interviewing female entrepreneurs that already got to where they are, and they were self-directed learners. They taught everything themselves. I'm like, oh, this is fascinating. There's a whole group of people that are doing this. And from there, I started teaching myself WordPress. I started teaching myself online marketing, social media, all the stuff that goes with being a blogger. And next thing you know, I start geeking out about this on social media. I'm like, oh, I just made a website, or, oh, I just learned how to do this. And next thing you know, bloggers started reaching out to me saying, hey, can you help me with my autoresponder? Or, hey, can you help me with, some copywriting or some social media management? And I said, sure. I don't know how to charge for this. I don't know. So it was like, okay. So I jumped on Squarespace. I made a website in a day, like a contact me page, an about page, services, very simple for people to reach me and get in touch. I made 3 packages. I did some research to find what people were charging. And I started a virtual assisting business, from the side. At the same time, though, I was traveling once a year because I made the promise to myself to be on a plane at least once a year. Mm-hmm. And then I was working part-time at a health food store to bring in some money, to reinvest in my business. So starting a business, working part-time, traveling, all at the same time. And from there, the virtual assistant business grew. And I found that I was doing more coaching and strategy work with my virtual assistant clients. They're like, I don't think you're a virtual assistant. And I was like, no, I don't think so either. And it evolved into what it is now, where it's an online platform and a resource for beginner entrepreneurs and people that want to share their story and copywriting and what it is today, being location independent. How do you run a business when Wi-Fi is spotty, when time zones change, So
the time zones
yeah.
We almost had it this morning with 1 hour.
I know. Yes. I was like, wait, hold on. Wrong time zone, different country, London, Mannheim.
1 hour time difference, yeah. Mm-hmm. So once you had the ball rolling, I would say, how did you get your mojo on track? How is it that you face your challenges? Suppose you face challenges.
Yes, every day, and especially on the road, being a nomad. You try to explain to people what you do, and they're like, you work from your laptop and you're always traveling. I don't know what exactly you're doing, but so it was fantastic to connect with like-minded people. And I tell people this all the time, like, I hired a business coach. I joined a mastermind. I have, connected with people that are doing what I'm doing. So when I'm feeling down in the dumps, when I have a challenge going on, or like an emotional upper limit that I keep procrastinating on something that I know will really help, they're like, hey, you're doing that thing you're doing. You're not stepping into your big self. And I say, oh, shoot, I'm not. So this online community and even meeting up in person in different countries has been, I think, the biggest help for me in moving forward the fastest, because I resisted for the longest time. I was like, I can do everything myself. I am a total DIY girl, and I can, if I do it myself, I can show others. And I believe the story of, oh, I have to suffer and, work hard and blah, blah, blah to be successful. And I'm like, that's just a total story I made up, and I'm falling into it, where now, I don't have to work hard. I don't have to stress out. I can put up boundaries and things will work out okay.
I love it. I definitely can share quite a few things in there as well. This whole thing about having to do it yourself, working hard, etc. I've been through that as well. And it's what really, I would almost say, saved me at some point is this online community, because I was rather isolated in my world when I was living in France. ended up, I definitely wasn't surrounded by like-minded people. So I reached out every time I needed
Yes.
it, every time I went like, oh my God, I'm not sure what's happening here. And what is stopping me? Is it ego or is it real stuff?
Yes, exactly,
And
exactly.
absolutely made a difference. And I think that having surrounding yourself, whether it's virtually or in the real life, and of course having both is even better,
Mm-hmm.
does make a difference. And daring being vulnerable. I like that you mentioned that at the beginning as well, because no one is Wonder Woman. Well, in our case, Wonder Woman, because we're working with women, but we all have our flaws, we all have our questions, and definitely
Yeah.
reaching out and saying, hey, I don't know, can someone help? That's
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Before I left, even I made a quick Periscope video because I was again caught in the story of I have to work hard, and I have to tie up loose ends before my trip. Um, and I went to, I was like, okay, I need to take a break. I was going to go to the grocery store and get something. And I work with a health coach that I write copy for. And it's always about connecting with your body, connecting with your body. I was like, you know what? I haven't connected with my body in a long time. So I'm in the parking lot. I start connecting with my body and I realize how exhausted I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, my legs started wobbling. And I said, so it took me to burn out to learn the lesson.
Yeah,
And
well,
sometimes that's what it takes. It's like I have no choice now. I have to delegate to my team members because I need to sleep for 6 hours
mm-hmm.
in the middle of the day to recoup.
Mm.
But sometimes that's how we learn. Sometimes we have to go through that, and that'll be the biggest insight sometimes that
Yeah,
we have.
I agree. That's for me. That's really the where we learn most. In fact,
Yeah.
I mean, that's also how we are credible towards our clients because we've been there,
Yes.
and so having experienced it ourselves, we know exactly what they're talking about, and that's how we can help them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very interesting. We always teach what we have experienced ourselves. In fact, so. Coming back to the challenges, what are the challenges that you have faced?
Oh, so many.
The
um,
biggest ones.
well, I think one of the first challenges that I think was a big catalyst for me in going down this non-traditional path was in high school. I dealt with really, really bad anxiety, panic attacks, stress, and it came out of the blue. And I was going through high school, and that time in my life, I had to really get clear about myself and my values and who I am and why am I feeling this way? And, as a high schooler here in the States, like being a teenager is bad enough. You're dealing with a whole bunch of things. And then you have anxiety and depression and panic attacks over it. You're like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. And I felt alone. And, so it gave me some really good time. And I'm very glad that it happened when it did, because I have friends that are going through that now in university. And I said, don't worry, I got you. I've been there, But it gave me some really great insight into what I value and what I deem important in my life. And I got over that. I started, I changed my diet. I became more mindful. I started doing yoga, and that opened up a whole other world of possibility. And because I started questioning what was normal in society and
Mm-hmm.
why anxiety happens for so many people, that's why I questioned going to university and getting student loan debt. If that didn't happen, I would have just gone with the flow,
Yeah, yeah,
and
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 reproduce the anxiety because you couldn't pay back. Blah, blah,
exactly,
blah, yeah.
exactly. And I'm like, I don't think I want that, because I realize the anxiety comes from being not in alignment with your, source and
Mm-hmm.
your strength and your zone of genius. So I was like, okay, this isn't good. So then I questioned again, and I found the digital nomad community. I read The Art of Nonconformity by Chris Guillebeau, where he traveled to every single country in the world. And I'm like, if this guy can travel, then why can't I? And he's doing good work and he's inspiring people. I'm like, that's what I want to do. And there's a great quote I think I saw while in high school, because the future is just changing so fast with technology. It's like, don't look for a job. The job you want doesn't even exist yet. And I'm like, remembering when I was little and they'd ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like, I don't know. I want to travel. I want to write. I want to, and then I realized I was in my room in Berlin, and that was my office, my apartment where I was staying. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm writing and traveling around the world. I'm doing the thing I said I was going to do. And it was like, oh my God, it's like, and it's still sinking in every day. It's like a new journey, a new step. And I was thinking still so small when I was younger, thinking like, oh, this isn't, like, how is this even possible? And then you're doing it. And then you're speaking at conferences and you're mentoring women. You're speaking at universities and you're like, how the heck did I get here?
What I find interesting in what you're saying as well is, and I think that does give a lot of hope. You and I obviously are not from the same generation. I'm a little bit older, or you a little bit younger.
Wiser.
And I find it, at least for people my age, quite rare to see that so young you were already into being clear about your values, etc., that you were into deeper work, wanting a difference, etc. Is that something that you see happening more often now with people your age?
I think, it's hard. There's maybe because I'm surrounded by, or I reached out to communities of people my age that aren't that way, but when I go outside of my communities of people that are like, oh, let's disrupt education, let's change, social entrepreneurship, and we get excited about this. I go out and I try to hire, recent college graduates, and I ask them, so they gave me their resume. I'm like, no, I don't care about your resume. Tell me what you love to do and what, you're really good at. And they just, they look at me like I am like an alien.
Like an alien.
Like resume, you threw away my resume. And I say, no, let me know what you love doing. And they say, I don't know. And I said, you had 4 years of university to figure out what you love to do. You had a whole life, well, the system isn't set up that way. And I'm like, this is kind of an injustice that it's happening, because that's what makes us human, I think. And I had to have conversations with people, and it's scary to tap into yourself, I think. Yeah. For a lot of people my age, it's like, oh, wait, I have to introspect now. What if I don't like what I see? What if I realize I'm lazy or I procrastinate or this? Because we're human. And I have conversations with them.
And it's not a question of age. It's not a question
of age. No, it's not. That's why I'm like, age doesn't matter. Like, I speak to people older than me, and they're in the same boat, or I speak to millennials and they're in the same boat. Exactly. So it's very interesting. And I tell them, sometimes the pattern I see is they've gone through some kind of trauma, or some kind of, like how I went through my anxiety, or somebody, a professor might have planted the seed of, hey, this is not what it's all about here. Mm-hmm. So it's usually been that case where people have gone through some kind of inner turmoil to get to this kind of space where they've done inner work, like you said.
Yeah, it's interesting. I said, you made me suddenly remember of my daughter studied at Northeastern University, and we went for her graduation not May this year, but the year before. And I remember this. I don't remember what her name was, but the introduction speech to all those students, where she was basically telling them, everything that you've learned here, it's not only about money, it's not only about you and your career. You guys all have in your hands the power to change the world, and that's what you should be going for. I really thought it was fascinating. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really, yeah. And so by starting looking at things from a different angle, and see, as you say, how you can somehow disrupt the system, etc. But there's a long way to go.
Yes, yeah.
So
That's what I tell people. I'm like, we have work ahead of us, people.
a little bit, yes, we can say so. So, other than you now going to Paris afterwards, maybe to Romania, if you look a little further, do you have an idea yet as where you're heading to?
Well, yes. I know I still want to be traveling most of the time. I have a couple plans in the works. One of the big reasons I'm going to Romania is, well, my family is out there, so I want to go visit them. But there's a big movement for co-working, co-living spaces, and I really love the tiny house movement. So when I'm out there, I've connected with an architect based in Bucharest, and I want to look at some land there and maybe talk to a few nomads about a tiny house community where they're coming through and they're traveling, co-working together. But also I want to, connect more with these big companies that have big influences to help them, do more of this storytelling marketing, do more good in the world, and just go out and consult with them to say, hey, have you considered this and this and this? Or here's how you can really connect with your client. And if they're not doing good work, I won't visit them. But these up and coming, really cute, really unique and quirky brands they have their own unique voice. I want to help those around the world really share their story through technology, through digital content marketing, and speaking at universities, because I still love. I go in at universities and I sit in on lectures all the time because people think, they're like, oh, you say don't go to college, you're against education. I'm like, no, it's the complete opposite. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm a student of the world, and if I can go and support these students that are in university and say, hey, you have options, or hey, this is what I love doing, and here's how you can start your own business. Like, my heart is happy.
I love it. That's really fantastic. So another thing that I'm interested in, what time is it, by the way? Oh yeah, 5 minutes, no more. Is from the moment you are approaching your business from a different angle, still it is a business. So how do you address the business side of things?
Yeah. And I think the last few months it's kind of become clearer too, with valuing myself, valuing my time and boundaries and packages and that. And I guess it comes to, I had this conversation with people about empathy and how you put yourself in your client's shoes and seeing what they actually need and creating products and services based from their needs. And most of the people I work with, they're established or they are establishing themselves. So, you realize they don't have time to read long emails. They don't have time to, do this and this and that. And the business side of things, I just followed up with somebody that will help me with accounting, because that's not my strength, but that is theirs. I'm like, here, take my money because that is your strength. That's what you're meant to do. And also dealing with the international taxes and being a nomad and how does that work, and there were a few people at the conference that I connected with. I'm like, oh, thank God I met you, because I don't know anything about this. So there's definitely that. I'm restructuring some of the things that I do in my business and getting rid of things that just aren't in my zone of genius that I know I can refer out to other people. And also more of a, I'm loving my online community, and I'm loving, the things that come recurring. So getting more of my systems refined and put down so that I'm not just doing one-on-one work. I love the one-on-one work, but you can only have so much time in the day.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I'm in transition now with big things. And then I have another big project in the works, kind of in line with share economy stuff, Uber and Airbnb and those companies. So all of them, they say, we're the biggest car company but we have no cars. We're the biggest real estate company, but we have no real estate. Well, this program I'm working on with two of my really good friends is going to be a classroom or a university with no university. So it's, an MBA program that, is going to help people launch an actual business. Because I've interviewed people with MBAs, and I ask them again, what are you passionate about? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, well, let's end that. So we're creating this project too. So it's more of letting my business run itself with systems.
I understand, yeah.
Traveling more, speaking more, consulting more, and then running this school while I'm, on the road. So having it more digital, having it more sustainable, having more systems.
Definitely very aligned with who you are. And I love what I'm hearing. Isabelle, we have to come to a close. I'm sorry for that. It's fascinating that we could go on for hours.
Oh, I know.
So the interview of Isabelle will be released on the 10th of August. My next guest will be Sarah Entrup of sarahentrup.com, and that will be released on the 17th. So Isabelle's interview will be made available as of the 10th on my website, agnesvanrhijn.com. So that is www.aney. Sorry, I don't know my name anymore. I start all over again. agnesvanrhijn.com. www.aneyesvanrhijn.com, and just go to the tab, The Woman Who Makes Things Happen show. Isabelle, thank you so much. It has been a delight having you, and I wish you a lot of success in your further travels and plans and dreams. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.